Before we begin, thank you very much to Michael T for joining the Patreon campaign. Appreciate it. Thank you very much for helping the channel keep going. Always appreciate anyone who wants to pitch in and keep this all on the tracks, as it were. A quick reminder, because we've got just over a week left in it, I am giving away a Lego Optimus Prime. A previous video gives you all the instructions on how to actually go about that. Please go take a look, check that out. Help me get some space in my room. I want to get rid of it. I'm kidding. But no, someone's going to get to win that, but you got to enter to do it, obviously. So, news roundup time. And we actually do have a decent bit of news this week with a bunch of in-hand stuff and no real silly stuff. Going into the holiday season, it looks like they're just putting their best foot forward. The biggest news of the week is something that we really haven't seen. They announced that at Cybertron Fest 2023, we are actually going to get a look at the 2024 Titan class toy. They have not actually officially confirmed yet that it's Tidal Wave, but every leaker says it's Tidal Wave. Every indication we have says that it is Tidal Wave. So, yeah, that's just a few days off. It's less than a week to go before we'll actually get to see whatever it is and however it turned out. Last chance to speculate. Is it going to be toy accurate? Is it going to be anime accurate? It's probably going to be anime accurate. How will the combining gimmick work with Megatron? It's probably going to be individual components that come off of Tidal Wave. It's me speculating wildly. But no, give us a few days and we'll devote a whole video to this thing's announcement because it's going to be incredible. Oh, I'm looking forward to it so much. Okay, let's get into some other news. Less happy, unfortunately. So, while Hasbro has been sending me email after email asking me, are you sure you still live where you live? And everyone is waiting for their updated info on Hasbro Pulse to go, yeah, your death source just shipped. Our friends in the UK will have to wait a little bit longer. The shipping has been delayed to spring of 2024, which is really bad. That's unfortunate. I was just telling somebody at the toy shop this week that, like, distribution in other countries is horrible compared to the US. So the delay isn't horribly surprising, but you would think that with Hasbro actually, having so long to prep for this, they might actually be able to, have this ready so everyone gets it in hand at the same time. Oh well. So, unfortunate for my friends over in the UK. You'll get it, and I'm sure it will be worth the wait, but it sucks that it sucks anytime someone else in the planet gets a hold of something super cool first, and you're just stuck there waiting, like, I gotta wait 3 months for that. That sucks. So, hopefully they beat this deadline. It won't be terribly long. Let's start looking at some in-hand shots of brand new toys, and we're going to start with Transformers Reactivate, Starscream, and Bumblebee. These just got spotted in the US. I actually went around to my GameStops. No one has it yet. Again, it's so random when GameStop, of all places, gets it in first, and you're like, am I lucky? No, I'm not. But we have in-hand shots, and this was actually a very pleasant surprise. Look at the size on the Starscream. Now, it's probably a little bit simpler, a little bit thinner in some spots than the War for Cybertron Starscream, but you know what? It does look a lot bigger. I mean, it's noticeably bigger than Siege. That's actually really cool and looking very nice. I still really like this asymmetric deco they've got going on these. Bumblebee looking the same way. Look how much bigger Bumblebee looks. Man, like, they are chunky. They are very chunky. Like, it's not even like Voyager and Deluxe. It looks like they're both large for both of those size classes. So now the price point, I get the price point now. This actually makes a lot more sense. So, yeah, I'm not going to be upset over a few extra bucks now. No, this actually seems to be absolutely worth it. And the two do look really, really good. I still really like the aesthetic they're going for. I like the overall shape and look of these toys. Yeah, you can see Bumblebee actually compacts down pretty well to end up at a deluxe alt mode size too. So that's gonna be cool. Yeah, and then the Starscream. Look at that. Look how much bigger the Starscream is. It's so cool. It's probably just simpler in engineering. I think that's how they get away with it. But no, this is super cool to see. Really looking forward to these, because these definitely seem to be like a very different style to them, and do things a little bit differently, which is, you know, very appreciated out of characters that have been around this long. Just to get it out of the way, it's breaking my normal sequence, but we also have the render of Starscream now from Reactivate, and it looks pretty good. The toy looks pretty spot on to how Starscream looks in the game. Aside from this does not represent the patchwork repair job that is done to him in the game, so the toy represents that a little bit better. The toy did get the wrong wing black, but that might have been switched from production, and for all I know, that's how the toy has it right when the final game comes out, and this is an early render. But for whatever reason, it looks like this is not the final form of Starscream in the game, and it should be closer to how the toy looks when all is said and done. It's still cool. I mean, I'm still really happy with how all this turned out. It just looks really, really nice. I do want to state, because I pointed out on Twitter, and it's worth pointing out again, if we take a look, over on Amazon, it's been a few weeks now since the pre-orders for these went live. Over on Amazon, they are still using these stock photos of like the official picture for the official pictures that show Bumblebee and Soundwave at an inaccurate size. You know, if they fix that within a few days, I would go, okay, yeah, that's fair. Someone goofed when they scaled things and put the image together. But considering they've been up this long, and now people have them in hand and they're still inaccurate, it feels like false advertisement. I mean, it feels deceptive to me, and I'm not really happy with that. So I'm hoping they fix this. But given how this is going, I don't think they are. But this is misleading. At the least, this is misleading. And I'm not really happy about that. Even Bumblebee in vehicle mode in the same, like, stock photo. No. Like, this is just scaling problem. Like, this is just putting two images together, so that's, I'm not expecting. This is literally stretched out. This is literally stretched out to look this way. Not happy about this. Let's see. Over on the Takara side of things, Optimus Prime's lunar cruiser figure has some production samples, so now we have this one in hand as well. I didn't go in on this. It's a super cool thing for them to do. It's just not catching my interest in particular. It is a really nice representation of the lunar cruiser. It's very smooth all the way around. No real sign that it transforms, which I know whenever they license a vehicle, that's what they prefer. They prefer it to look this way. And the Prime coming out of it, yeah, is very kibble loaded. He kind of like, there's a little bit of this that does remind me of like how they figure out G.I. Joe Transformers, where a lot of what makes the vehicle gets tucked away on the back or doesn't really get incorporated to the robot mode that much. But they did put some of it in here. This is a better mix than the G.I. Joe figures. It doesn't look bad either. It doesn't look bad. Yeah, it's just a super interesting figure for them to do out of nowhere. You know, it's Takara just kind of being like, hey, what if we did this? Which is neat. And yeah, they, for some reason it includes the same display stand that the Masterpiece toys do, even though it doesn't look nearly as big as the Masterpiece toys. It's a neat set. I don't necessarily know if I would ever go after it, but it is a really cool item. It's a really cool thing for them to have done, and very different. I like that. All right, what else have we got? Let's do some in-hands. We got more in-hands. This is Core Energon Megatron from Legacy United. These are some of the first ones that have been sighted around. So, yeah, welcome to year 3 of Legacy. We've officially arrived. He looks pretty good. I like that he actually has his big sword cannon tank dumb thing. I'm glad they actually threw that accessory in correctly. All ball joint engineering. He looks like he's got some hinged knees instead. But looks pretty solid for what he does. For what he is, he actually looks pretty solid. Energon Megatron is not a complicated toy. Not by any stretch of the imagination. So shrinking him down to core class makes absolute sense. The idea that you can actually take his cannons off of the shoulders and just hand hold them is hilarious to me. If you just want something a little bit more traditional in your Megatrons, why would you get an Energon Megatron you didn't want looking like that? I don't know. The vehicle mode is a little bit simple in its paint job, to the point where I am getting a little bit of like old school like McDonald's Transformer vibes out of it, which is kind of unfortunate. I wish it was done up a little bit better, a little bit cleaner. It's not too bad though. Like for a core like this kind of gives me that vibe. This kind of gives me that vibe, but it's not bad for a core class. It's at least an interesting character to do at that size. So I'm looking forward to it. I like this design. I always liked Energon Megatron, so I'm looking forward to it. His fellow core class Tasmanian Kid is also in hand now. This one doesn't really have to do anything like terribly complicated, does it? You know, the original was just a literal shell former. Like, well, no, not really, not really. I keep forgetting that Snarl wasn't a year one toy with like the spring-loaded shell gimmick. No. He actually had like actual transformation steps to him. But no, he looks fine. He does still kind of look the way that the original toy looked. It still had a big chunk of some Tasmanian devil skin that came off and just became a shell on his back. He is not bad, though. He basically just kind of looks like a modernization of that original toy. Like, just upgrade the articulation and switch up the engineering a little bit. It's still a really fun one for them to do, because it's a Beast Wars second character that wasn't really anything in the U.S. Cute little Tasmanian Devil mode, too. It doesn't have this exaggerated head of the original toy. Looks neat. Looks fun. Again, the core class does weird things. And I enjoy when Transformers do weird things, so I'm eager to get this one in hand too. All right, this one shouldn't be news. It should not be in a news roundup, because we've actually known about Medics for quite a while. In some parts of the world, he's already been out. But Hasbro themselves finally acknowledged the toy's existence and its official release. Took them a while. We've seen plenty of Medics at this point. Okay, it's a grown-up version of a Rescue Bot character, done up from, from the evolution mold. I can't. Why did I blank on his name? Because he's a minor character that I can't remember all the time. So don't correct me in the comments. You know who I'm talking about. But yeah, it's just a remold. We have the official release. It got listed on Pulse. It's already sold out on Pulse. So following the tradition of all the other Walgreens exclusives, you have to give credit to Walgreens and Hasbro at the very least for keeping up this Walgreens exclusives are medical vehicles motif that they have done. You know, I mean, congratulations to them that they've been able to keep pulling these medics out of their butts in order to keep this going. Has me curious what's going to be the next one, because you know they're going to keep doing more. They do one a year. Hope you get lucky. Because it feels like all of these exclusives, like you are lucky to find them. So hopefully it is a successful search for everyone out there. We'll get this one out of the way really quick. There's new Rise of the Beast Legends of Cybertron toys, which is to say very simple figures that still transform effectively. They are all repacks. There's new stock images, but they're literally all just repacks of previous toys. This is, it's news though, so we had to bring it up, but meh, who cares? We've all had these before, or not. We do have new simple figures for Earthspark, however, that are completely new. A lot of Warrior class and one-step changers, a few Tacticons, starting with Elita 1's one-step changer, which does seem to be just fold everything, just flip, everything flips to the back. Doesn't look too complicated, but, she accomplishes what she needs to do in both modes, so good on her. Looking nice for what it is. This one I'm actually interested in. It's one of those Switchblade style transformations, but it actually works for Skullcruncher. He just turns into this little flat alligator, which I think is hilarious. Yeah, this one, I mean, you should, if you've been watching the channel long enough, like this was my headmaster as a kid. So I really, really like Skullcruncher. And I'm really looking forward to having him as just this like quick little desktop figure. Again, I've said it before, I love having like these older characters getting all these gimmicky figures that weren't around back when they were first a thing. So I'm happy Skullcruncher is getting a lot of love lately. Yeah, I'm going for this. I want this one. Tacticon Twitch Looking okay, about the same as any Tacticon. It's just a shell that opens up when you put your finger in it. I still haven't gotten one of these because, like, I can't imagine, any of them actually being any fun for me. A kid maybe, but not a grown adult. It's like doing like finger puppets with Transformers. But I know there's people out there who like them, so I'm not gonna begrudge. It's just not my thing. There hasn't been one I thought looked good enough for me to go, okay, I'll take it. I'll just try it out just to say I did it. You know, just to say I know how they are. I do like that the Terran symbol is actually on the packaging now, and you can see it's actually on Twitch's robot mode. So, it looks like going into Earthspark season 2, they are actually going to be including that in the designs, which is cool. Makes all the other designs outdated, but hey, it is what it is. Warrior class Bumblebee actually looking pretty good for a warrior class, like a simplified version of the deluxe. It's got some junk in there as a result, but nothing too terrible. It still looks like the vehicle mode, and still looks pretty decent in robot mode. Bumblebee, like, kid appeal characters always tend to get the short end of the stick because they're the kid appeal. They'll sell no matter what the toy's quality comes out as. But it looks like for Earthspark, Bumblebee's been getting a pretty good run of stuff. For a warrior class, this looks really, really nice. Yeah. I'm not sure if I would pick it up. Maybe if I just happen to find it and I don't really have anything else to get and I'm in the mood for something new. That kind of toy pickup situation, but it looks fine. Looks fine. Head might be a little bit large. Before anyone calls it out, head might be just a little bit big. But I like the expression on it. And then there is a warrior class Twitch as well. I don't know what happened to her vehicle mode here. She doesn't have a complicated vehicle mode. I don't know why it ends up looking like this. It doesn't look like she transformed. It doesn't look like she transformed. Oh no, this ain't good. This ain't good. Get the deluxe. The deluxe is usually easy to find, and it's pretty nice. But no, yeah, more Terrans, more Twitch on the way. And I like Twitch, so okay, whatever. Moving on. So, Ken Christensen actually put out a whole bunch of artwork he did for the Transformers trading card game, which gives you some nice clean looks at a lot of different character art that was used for the cards, which is something we rarely get with things like this. So it's actually kind of cool when it actually happens. I'm waiting for people to actually take these and just make drawing sheets out of them. You know, there's Classics Bumblebee, things like that. There's Fangry, looking very feral. Really like how Fangry came out in this one. And yeah, it's just cool to have. Like, it's just cool to be able to see. And I know there's still people who just like love that TCG. So it's a little bit of history for them too. So that's all. That's still nice to see. All right. Nothing really like shocking here. Like nothing like, oh well, this one didn't come out. Nothing like that. It's just, you know, just nice looks. This is not a nice look. So we have the concept art now for Freezer from Rise of the Beast. Now, in the movie, Freezer just kind of ends up being a new Frenzy, which is kind of unfortunate, because it looks like they were trying for some very unique designs originally. Here's one where the head is in the middle of the body. Here's something a little bit more akin to actually what they look like in the movie. Again, it just kind of looks like a meaner Frenzy. I think that ends up being like the final design. But you can see if they had a bunch of alternate takes for something that was like ultimately kind of minor in the movie. They actually had a lot of different designs that they kind of poured through before they settled on it. Look how creepy this would have been. Look how creepy this Slenderman-looking Freezer would have been. This is unsettling. It's like genuinely unsettling. Yeah, and the head a little bit more traditional at one point too. I kind of like the one in the head in the middle. It makes no sense, but it's super creepy. I think that would have made the scene a lot scarier. Maybe that's why they toned it down. They didn't want to be that scary. But no, it's still cool to see what these used to be like. And then to wrap it up, we've got a new G1 poster for you to get. Well, technically not a new poster. So this one was available a few months ago. It sold out very quickly. But there is some new development. I have to go to their website in order to actually get this. So this is the cartoon variant of the poster, which is available right now once more. But there's also a toy variant where everyone's done up with different colors to be more toy accurate, as well as a lot of their sticker detailing, which is kind of a cool little addition to do if you want something a little bit more attuned to your toy collection. Also, there's a limited run of these where the artist will also paint on a extra head in the corner, which you can see here. Some of the examples. You don't get to make the request. It's just you're going to get a random head as part of the signature on the piece, which is kind of a neat little touch and detail. And with that, that does it for our news roundup for the week. Thank you very much for everyone for joining me and watching once again. Hope everyone is now up to date on your news in the world of Transformers. So thank you again, and I will see you next time.
We parlay with the captain.
You think a werecroc is going to listen to elvish rules of piracy?
Of course it would be the freaking elves that invented parlay.
I had to think of a quick replacement for the French.